Remember the day you finally admitted to yourself that being honest, working hard, and following the rules was pure foolishness, because the rules were never written for you to win. It is 8 a.m. You are crammed into a packed metro or stuck behind the wheel in heavy morning traffic. The guy next to you looks completely content, cashing in today on whatever backstabbing move he pulled last night, and you played by the book, put in the hours, sweated honestly day and night, and once again, you hit a brick wall. And that toxic question drills straight into your mind. Where did I go wrong? Here is the bitter truth. Nowhere. Ever since we were children, we've been fed a comforting bedtime story, the fairy tale of fairness. They told you, work hard and you will win. Don't cheat, be honest, and life will reward you. The reality is far colder. The universe doesn't recognize morality, nor does it care about your good intentions. The universe only produces physics and raw outcomes. You aren't getting crushed because you failed to follow the rules. You are getting crushed because you are trying to stay human inside a cold mathematical equation. And here is the quiet mechanism most people miss. Survival often demands exhaustion. Unless you grind yourself down until you burn out, those gears simply keep turning over your back. Picture the scene. It is the year 170 AD. The Roman Empire is fracturing at its borders, and a devastating plague is sweeping through the streets, cutting down families without warning. Inside a cold, dimly lit campaign tent in the mud, Emperor Marcus Aurelius sits alone. He stares at a blank parchment, his candle flickering in the dark, wrestling with a brutal realization. No matter how virtuous you try to be, the fiercest storm will still sink the most honest captain's ship. He wasn't writing a philosophy textbook for academics. He was trying to keep his own sanity from shattering. Centuries earlier, that exact same battle for inner control played out under vastly different chains. Picture a small dark room in Rome where a man named Epictetus sits on the floor. Born into brutal slavery, physically crippled, and forced to endure years of heavy iron shackles, he didn't write grand speeches about ruling empires. Yet, the wealthiest elites and senators of Rome regularly traveled across the empire just to sit in silence at his feet, desperate to learn how he remained completely unbroken while physically owned. Both men discovered the exact same operational truth. First, the external world is pure chaos. You cannot control the market, the weather, or another person's betrayal. Second, the only variable you truly own is the filter through which you process the strike. They weren't dusty old theorists. They were architects of mental survival, and their blueprint is entirely usable today. Forget the sanitized, recycled advice telling you to think positive and manifest your dreams. When your bank account is draining and your efforts are being ignored, empty motivation feels like an insult. If you want to navigate a broken playing field, you need practical leverage. First, the zero-base mindset. Stop waiting for the receipt. Imagine walking into a casino, playing by the rules, losing all your money, and then standing at the cashier demanding a refund because you were a good person. You'd be laughed out of the room. Yet, that is exactly how we live our lives. We expect the universe to hand us a receipt for our integrity. Stop living as if existence owes you a debt. Saying, "I worked this hard, I didn't deserve this," is a trap that keeps you chained to a victim's mindset. The exact moment you drop your expectations down to zero, bitter disappointment dies. From that second forward, every setback stops feeling like a personal tragedy and becomes raw data. Strip away the emotion. Analyze the mechanics. Second, anti-fragility, feeding on the blow. Think of a fragile wine glass. Drop it, and it shatters. Think of a plastic toy. Drop it, and it stays the same. But think of your own muscles. When you lift heavy iron, the muscle fibers actually tear, and in repairing themselves, they grow stronger. This is anti-fragility. Did someone steal your project? Did a partner walk away when things got hard? An ordinary person breaks down, but an anti-fragile mindset asks a different question. What structural vulnerability did this expose, and how do I make a repeat mathematically impossible? Injustice functions like heavy resistance on a lifting bar. Handled correctly, it builds internal muscle. Third, building an asymmetric game board. The exit strategy. Society hands you a very linear script. Follow the standard path. Work for decades, hope for stability. That model carries a high risk of failure if external conditions shift. Smart operators look for leverage. Asymmetric positioning means looking for paths where your downside risk is strictly managed, but your upside potential remains wide open. Instead of tying your entire livelihood to a single point of failure, you diversify your skills, protect your time, and quietly build parallel streams of leverage. Take a moment to look back. Think about all the energy you burned because you trusted a broken premise, all the times you swallowed your frustration, hoping things would eventually balance out. You've seen the board clearly now. You no longer have to play the role of the passive participant waiting for validation from an indifferent environment. Stop waiting for external conditions to suddenly become fair. Let the surrounding noise play out in its own chaos. Turn your focus inward. Let unexpected resistance make you structurally sound, and use smart positioning to find your footing. Take a deep breath. The field is wide open. And remember, true power isn't about changing the world around you. It is about becoming a force that no environment can break.